Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Tyler Rohde. I sit down with comics and talk to them about comedy and various other things. All I ask of you is to like and subscribe, and let's get on with the show. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We're sitting down with Dougie Almeida and Richie Minervini. How are yous doing?
Pretty good, man.
Can't complain. Tyler, it's good to be here on your podcast.
It was better than a few moments ago.
Well, that was
a little better.
That was much better.
Yeah, much better.
All right, so let's try this again. All right, so how are yous doing again?
Good. We're fantastic.
Yeah.
Great time.
For those of you, this just crashed, so I had to redo it. So we're doing it, again.
We're on like take 95.
Yeah. Oh wait, no, I think it's actually 96.
I lost count.
Yeah. All right, so nice, simple, easy question. Let's start with you, Dougie. Where are you from?
Originally from Queens, New York. Born there, but raised in South Florida.
And what about you, Richie?
Born in New York, and my kids were getting a little bit older. I heard all my cousins talking with a Brooklyn accent. Didn't want my kids to talk like that. I moved to South Carolina, got divorced, and moved to Florida.
All right, so both of yous went from New York, where pretty much I think all comedians are born, and then moved to Florida.
Right.
Yeah.
What's special about Florida?
Well, oranges. The oranges are good.
Mangoes. I love mangoes.
Mangoes too.
Yeah.
Girls in bikinis.
Year round.
All the time. Strip clubs. Although, I don't know if I should tell you that, kid.
And early bird specials.
That's right.
You can have dinner at 4 o'clock.
And people that don't use their blinkers.
Yeah, there it is.
It's an option. It's an option.
Yeah, we were actually talking about that, about the driving, how it's different from New York to South Carolina to Florida, where New York is crazy, but predictable crazy.
Yeah.
So if you get used to it, you're fine. But South Carolina and Florida is just crazy.
Yeah, in New York, you know someone's going to cut you off.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's they tell you, kind of tell you by they speed up. You can tell. In Florida, somebody will have their right blinker on,
But for a long time.
and they'll be slowing down like they're going to turn, and all of a sudden they whip into the HOV lane, it's the fast lane. It's the meds, different meds.
Yeah.
Different meds.
Yeah, and of course with South Carolina, you have people from all different counties, countries, states.
If you're going to drive and play the license plate game, South Carolina is the town.
I would say the number one state.
Right?
Yeah.
You got to spot a bunch of them.
Yeah.
Right? Everything. Right? People just kind of... Is that what South Carolina is? Just a place where you kind of... Yeah, we got to get through it.
Yeah.
Well, I have heard that they called me a halfback. It's actually a common term. I went to move to Florida.
Yeah.
And I had relatives there. They were really engaging. They wanted us to move there. They had houses picked out. My wife was all about it. Yeah, this is great. And we got in the car. And she said, I am not moving where you walk on water. So we made it as far as Myrtle Beach, and it was raining. I didn't feel like driving in all that rain. And we started staying around looking at houses. Saying, this is a nice place. And we stayed here. Apparently, I'm not the only one. A lot of people from New York want to move to Florida. It's too hot. They come halfway back, and they find this is better than New York. Right. And they call them halfback. So I'm a halfback in South Carolina.
I thought that was something you got in prison.
No.
Like
no,
name.
no.
Sounds like a prison nickname. Halfback. That's not when you're going to share it on the podcast. Because this can't be a prison story.
So, once again, let's start with you, Doug. What got yins into comedy?
My boss surprised me with a drug test. And I was like, all right, I guess I got to move on to plan B. I have a buddy of mine that just lost his job with Uber. I mean, where do you go from there? You know what I mean? Like Uber, how do you get fired from Uber? You make your own hours.
Right.
You're in your own car. I kept arguing about I don't get it. I guess you can get a job at Radio Shack. I was one of those guys who never had kids.
Yeah.
And once my parents were gone, my wife who I'm blessed with, looked at me and said, I don't care about money. So go ahead and be a comedian. And that was it. I just started touring, and I still get to do my job, which is manage money, but it pays for the bills. But it's I think I made enough money this year to pay for that mic. Maybe, I don't know.
It's like a nice mic.
Yeah.
I never got a 1099 with Philly cheesesteaks on it. That's I got paid in Philly cheesesteaks. Like my accountant's like, how do you write that off? I go, you just eat it.
Yeah.
What about you, Richie?
I speak too fast and I mumble, so I took a couple of public speaking classes and had to do speeches, and it turns out I couldn't give a straight speech. Just there'd be a couple of laughs here and a couple of laughs there, and just kind of walked into it. Yeah. I was a salesman. This was only fun. If I had a better physique, I would have been a male stripper to meet women, but this was a way to meet women for a couple of years until I got grown up and got a regular job. And that was 30 years ago. I haven't grown up yet.
It's funny you say that. Like I worked for a big insurance firm, and I would do seminars. And they had an outline. It's all compliant. You have to follow compliance and register what you're going to talk about, and retirement and stuff. And I would be like, everybody loved to go see my presentations because I would go off the book. I'd be telling jokes about managing money. Money, yeah, and then people were laughing. And then one time I didn't know it, but one of the people from the Hartford went to one of my seminars and went, you didn't do anything in the outline. And I go, yeah, and then I got let go because I couldn't stick to the.
I worked for the Florida Mackel Brothers. They sold land from New York, and they would fly people down for free on planes, put them up in a hotel, and sold property. And just like you, Doug, I was giving these speeches, and they said, look, stick to the material, okay? This is tried and true for selling. And I did, but someone would ask a question, and there would be my answer. What are we looking forward to when we move down here? Alligators. A lot of alligators and sweat running down your ass.
Yeah.
And then big laughs, I sold some stuff.
Yeah. Underwear, a lot of. Came out with his own underwear line.
So, of course, no offense to you, Richie, but you've been around a while.
That's not offensive. That means I'm alive.
Yeah. Thank
I
God.
hope I'm alive for a lot longer, yeah.
I would have had a couple more
Okay, so let's
mature of this
just go.
podcast.
What do you know? What did the doctor
right.
say?
So let's just go on the full thing. So you're old.
Yeah, there you go.
What was it like? I don't want to say. Well, yeah, back then, for comedians.
Could not have been easier. There were no other comedy clubs. There were none. So I was a realtor. I opened up a comedy club. So they saw guys talking in front of a mic without a guitar, and the audience loved us. It was the newest, greatest thing. It was early 80s, late 70s, and people were like, wow, these guys are great. Then I think the next couple of generations after, they had to match up to the first guy. So I was working out with guys like Jerry Seinfeld and Paul Reiser, Eddie Murphy, Jackie the Joker Martling.
Yeah.
And we had to have 10 guys on the show to do an hour and a half show. Seinfeld, the most prolific writer, had 12 minutes. He headlined with 12. That's all. He couldn't go 14. He had 12. 12 great minutes. So
What's up with the 14 minutes?
who said 14? How did I get 14? I want to do 15, but I don't have it, so I couldn't. Who are all these people? And why are they here? You don't need to interview Seinfeld. You got us.
Yeah.
Same thing.
So, how long have Yins been in comedy?
Wait, I gotta go. The Yins.
I like
Is that a
Yins.
South Carolina thing?
No, it's a Pittsburgh thing.
It's a Pittsburgh thing? Okay.
All right.
Yins.
Yins. I'm going to be stealing that.
Yeah, Yins.
I'll be a Pittsburgh Steeler.
So us Yins? What about us Yins?
How long have Yins been in comedy?
Well, my Yin's been in comedy. I think I'm my 11th year. I know I broke the 10-year mark recently, and I stopped,
Counting?
Is that all you did?
Yeah, like 11 years, I think.
Oh, you're polished. You're good.
Thanks, man. That's a compliment, by the way, as a comic.
Yeah.
I've heard, you get said that, like, polished. I'm like, every time I think of polished, I think of something a little disturbing and sexual,
Oh.
like polishing the knob.
No. I mean,
Yeah, I know, but it's a good, yeah. It feels good. 12 years. Polished. Not polishing the knob.
your mother's going to love this podcast.
What about you, Richie?
What about me? What? I forgot
long-
the question.
how long
I have
have you
ADD.
been-
You got to
How long have you been polishing your knob?
Oh, geez.
Get a hold of yourself. You're the host.
It's the first time I soaped it up by myself. Jeez.
That's a good idea.
So I'm in. Try it. I'm in. I bet 35 years. Yeah, 35 years.
And if I remember correctly, you opened up the Brigada, correct?
I know. I took the Borgata over after I opened up the East Side Comedy Club. It was the first comedy club in the country. There were showcase clubs like Catch Rising Star, the Improv, Dangerfields, but I had the first club that paid comedians real money. Yeah. So that was kind of fun. Ended up, a lot of comedians moved to the area where my club was.
Yeah.
And we had a regular show, went on for about an hour and a half. And then we told the people they want to leave, they can leave, but there's like 8 more comics. And shows would go on for 3-4 hours sometimes.
Yeah. I just had a conversation about that with people, like how long a show should be.
Yeah.
90 minutes.
90 minutes.
That's it.
That's it. That's all you need.
It's like what my wife wants.
In fact, I was at Catch a Rising Star when I wasn't even a comedian. $8 to get in, I don't remember. Packed at 8 o'clock on a Sunday night. At 12 o'clock, there was only 8 people left. And we were still sitting there because we were too drunk to drive home, so we ordered another drink. You know, you can drive home now, so let's
You
get
can
one.
drink yourself sober,
Yeah.
by the way, kid.
Then you start talking about, well, who's more sober? So this guy would stay out. And George Wallace comes up on stage, and there's 8 people. It hasn't been a laugh in the room, hour and a half. Wallace walks up, never mentioned the 8 people, did his act, crushed.
Yeah.
Crushed. And I was like, wow. Okay, if I ever do become a comedian, I'm going to remember this.
Must possess
this night.
that.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I remember moments like that, especially when I was starting, where you're like, oh, boy, you think you're funny. Like there's these old jokes that, you say, oh, I wish I think I'm funny. You watch your old material, and you're like, oh, you never look at it again. You want to burn it, But then you're like, oh, this crowd just sucks. And then somebody goes up who's polished, that's been around, and all of a sudden, kaboom! Like, what happened?
Yeah.
It's like somebody just started the old lawnmower.
Yep.
And no one could start, and they went up and kicked it over and made you mow the grass.
Mm-hmm.
That's something you do in Florida too, by the way. A lot of grass mowing. Used to it.
Sorry.
Yuns.
Yins.
So what, this is a weird question, so I might have to elaborate, but what is your style of comedy?
Rock and roll.
Yeah.
It's rock and roll. It's I don't know. What are the categories?
Well, I mean, you have, Jackie does, street jokes in his own personal way.
Right.
Some tell stories in a funny way. Do you tell stories? Do you...
Well, you talked about this earlier. You're a traditional guy. Set up punchline.
Right, yeah.
Set up punchline.
I'm old school. I was at Catch Rising Star and Improv watching the guys work. And what got me into it was Richard Belzer was the funniest guy in the world. But I went to go to the bathroom, and he heckled me once. I didn't know what to do. I didn't say anything. But I was down the next week, and he heckled me again. I said, I don't need this shit from him. So I threw something back at him. He goes, so what are you doing here, buddy? Did you just fart? I said, this is a great club. I said, it's very, very organized. They have shit in the toilet that didn't flush, and they have shit on stage. That was my first laugh in a comedy club. And Belzer was just, had nothing. And I said to him, you got nothing. And I was like, oh, man. Okay, I'm funny. I was just as funny in a comedy club. Then I signed up the next week, went on stage, and ate it. Not a laugh. Crickets. And Belzer said, keep coming back. I went, it's like Alcohol's Anonymous. You got to keep coming back. And sooner or later, you'll get it.
At some point. Yeah. I think of myself as a traditional comic, especially nowadays. I'm also used to play guitar and a musician. So I think of my set as like a how would you say it? Like a crescendo?
Oh, yeah.
Is that a good expression? Like I'll start off with one-liners, and then I'll tell some stories,
Yeah.
And then I'll do some act outs, and I'll do even some singing, you know. And if you're really lucky, I'll do some magic.
Get out.
Yeah, make the crowd disappear.
Oh, but you,
They suck. This guy. No, I did a show recently, and a magician opened for me. He was good. And I said, hey, man, I'm really glad this guy's last magician I worked with made the crowd disappear.
That's
You know what I mean? So it's funny because then you have modern day, like, comics. They say the alternative comics that don't tell punchlines. They just sit there and whine about wearing a Band-Aid. You know, the time they got upset with their mom made them wear a Band-Aid.
oh gosh.
It's hilarious stuff if you have no sense of humor.
Yeah.
And you know, but you know, I think you'd be a good judge of me. You've seen me now for the first time, and
Yeah.
knowing me,
I loved it.
pretty traditional.
He commanded the stage immediately. He set the pace right off the bat of who he was, and every joke comes back to his character. His first 5-6 lines set up who he is, and every joke relates back to that. If you took those jokes out of context and not know the performer, they're inherently his. You couldn't steal his jokes
Yeah.
and get a laugh at them. He can get a laugh at them because of the character is set early.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got advice a while back by who I love, a guy named Rich Voss.
Oh, good guy.
And
Funny guy.
He's one of those guys that could say the meanest things to people
Yeah.
and be mean as hell on stage, but everybody loves him. Well, not everybody, but
Not everybody. No.
especially his wife. But that's a joke. Everybody knows. So yeah. So and he said, he goes, there'll come a day in your comedy career where you won't be telling jokes, but you'll be saying things that are funny. And there was a difference right there. Like,
Well, the actual, I heard the quote by some older guys, comedians, even older than me. There's comedians.
could you imagine?
Oh my God! And comics. A comic can tell a joke, but a comedian has the funny bone, and it's him talking, making people laugh.
Yeah.
So I am half comic, half comedian. I'm a comedian.
He's a comedian.
Comedian. Huh.
That'd be a
Interesting
good
word.
It's kind of like a Polynesian
First time
mix.
that word has come out, comedian.
Comedian.
I think that's my new.
You trademark it.
Yeah.
It's your new T-shirt.
I like it.
Anyway, I was just never mind. So what is your? Of course, Ian's have to travel a lot. What is your preferred method? Flying, driving, walking?
I like to fly, but then I wake up and realize I'm not a superhero. You know,
They said to Muhammad Ali once, you got to put your seatbelt on. He goes, Superman doesn't need a seatbelt. And the flight attendant said, Superman doesn't need a plane. Put your seatbelt on. And he went, okay, you win.
I mean, you've done this a lot more. I'm still at the stage of my life where I'm still excited to get on stage as somebody's only doing it 10, 11 years. So I don't mind it. I like driving places because I
like
have my gun with me. I carry a gun.
Yeah.
I mean, it shoots water, but I still like to have it. Just it's yellow and everything. I don't know if it's intimidating. No, but I like to carry my things.
Yeah.
You know, and I hate the boarding process of a plane. You know, if there's anything if you worry about the sanctity and the potential survival of the human race, just get on a plane and realize it's never going to happen. We're all doomed.
Mm-hmm.
You can't just find your seat, put your bag up. Can't happen.
Yeah.
Just that they can't. So I like driving.
I like driving. Back in the day when there were a few comedians and lots of good gigs, they used to fly in first class. They really wanted you.
Yeah.
But it's supply and demand. There's a whole bunch of comedians now, and the country's gone corporate. They realize we can put these guys in coach, and they'll still do the gig. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, here you get a nice condo.
Yeah.
This happens to be one of the great condos.
Comedy condo has a very varied. Like my buddy and I, Chris, stayed at the Funny Stop condo, and he was excited because he lives in Florida. He thought condo, there's got to be a golf course
Right.
or a pool or a lake. No, there's a wall. You know what I mean? It ain't the condo ain't nothing. It's con.
We had a condo in Atlantic City, and after a while, everybody realized, the local thugs, that those were the comedians, and they got paid in cash on Saturday, and 3 weeks in a row, they robbed the comedians. Knocked on the door, they opened up, boom, and stole this. And then the guy put us in the hotel. We got to play at the Tropicana Hotel and stay in the Tropicana. So crime does pay.
That's why they needed me with my yellow water gun. I took care of that.
Yeah. Run away. It's...
But then, you know what's nice about this gig, especially this time? Because you're in one place, and it's a nice place,
Yeah.
for 5-6 days.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes you do a gig. I had a recent tour where I called it the check-in, check-out tour. It was like 6 nights, 5 places, and you got to check in and out every day.
Yeah.
And you could be in a nice hotel, but you got to move back in, get back out,
Yeah.
So this is an awesome gig for that. You're
Awesome.
here, you're in Myrtle Beach.
Yeah.
You're not in like North Dakota.
I like being in North Dakota.
You do like being in North Dakota?
I spent the summer in Alaska. I love it's the last American frontier. I'm starting to get away from.
Would Tulsa, Oklahoma been a better example? Being stuck in Tulsa, Oklahoma?
That's a hard place. Yeah.
I mean, there's some areas. Listen, there's some towns that I could win a George Clooney lookalike contest. And my wife never has to worry about me cheating.
Yeah.
I become a perfect 10. You know what I mean?
Real fast.
Real fast. I go from a 4 in Miami to a 10 because, I mean, look, it's the town. There must be something in the water.
My son's in a band called 100th, and they were playing in the garage since they were 14 or 15. At 18, they got a tour. So it was Christian punk. So I get these boys together. I've known them for 5 years. I said, listen, guys, you want to be on the road. You're going to be on the stage. I don't care how small the town is. The minute you get on the stage and you're from out of town, these girls are going to be flocking you. You're going to be a star. You don't want to be spreading your seat. Here's some condoms and things. And they're like looking at each other. And I go, what? And they go, Mr. Minervini, we're a Christian band. I said, yeah. Well, we're not going to do that. I go, look, I know you guys. I played sports to get a girl. And then I played the bass guitar to get a girl. Why are you playing music if you can't get a girl? You're not a football player. You're not going to do it? Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
They did not take the condoms. Yeah.
Wow.
I still have them.
What, the band?
Yeah,
All right, guys, I'll tell you what. You guys hook up the girls and then filter them through me.
I'll manage you.
That's right. I'll take care of it. If you're not going to be doing any drugs either, bring those to me.
Those are mine.
I'll confiscate those and review them. Like when you go trick-or-treating and you take the candy from the kids,
Oh.
I'll take that.
Well, talking about your yellow water gun, we used to follow the little kids around and we'd be shooting the water gun in his bag because he'd walk around in a bag and it would leak and come out and we'd steal their candy. Yeah, so it wasn't like stealing. We found it on the cement right behind us.
See, we used it differently though.
What did you do?
We would like all pee in buckets
No,
and fill up the water guns with pee.
I have never
And
done
squirt
that.
people when behind. Like, hey man, why you smell like pee, dude?
And I could actually fit in a water gun.
You don't try to pee
I
into the
don't
water
even
gun.
need the bucket.
Yeah, I get easy. It's like when the fighter jets refuel in the air.
Yeah. Wow.
He does the whole thing. He stands up in the bathtub, fills his water gun. That's a visual for a podcast.
Boy.
That's music to the ears.
Yeah.
You ain't gonna get that anywhere else, man.
Yeah. Whenever we were talking about the airplane before, airplane or car, that reminded me of a George Carlin set, which brought me to another thing. What is it? No, I'm sure it's fine, not like annoying or anything. But what is it like to watch another comedian's set as a comedian?
I think you see it differently. I remember I opened up a comedy club. I was a realtor. I wanted to be a comedian. I didn't like going to the bringer clubs and I'm thinking, well, the club owner's making all the money. The comedians are bringing everybody in. And I knew a little bit about supply and demand. So there was this restaurant that was open. I grabbed it. And watching guys, and I've talked to other club owners, I said, you know what I miss? Because I don't have the club anymore. I miss open mic night. I said, not every open mic night. I miss that night when the kid's been working for about 8 months, a year, and all of a sudden, 7 minutes is magical. He finally put it all together, and the look on their face when they got it. That's what you miss. And that's fun.
Yeah, my wife gets mad at me sometimes because I'm a little too vocal. I wear my heart in my sleeve, so if somebody's really bad, I'll be like, oh, like I'll make gesture like, oh my God, and like look at my watch, and and then my wife's like, don't, that's mean. I'm like, he sucks, you know what I mean? Like, but It depends on who it is. You know what I mean? If you're in a room, you know, I think it's interesting when you're going to go up and there's people going up before you. I got friends I've worked with that don't want to be in the room. They don't want to be around it. They want to go on stage. I like to hear what the hell's going on because I don't want to say a joke or something that someone else kind of, you know, maybe went on a premise or, you know, like last night there was a guy that did a spot, but I guess his wife was Vietnamese, and my wife's Asian, so I had to pay attention. You know, I don't want to, you know, say something.
I have a feeling he's seen you before, and he had a rewrite.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. I'll pretend my wife is Vietnamese. Yeah. Your wife's from Cambodia?
Yeah. It's always funny after the show. People go, "Is your wife really Cambodian?" I'm like, "Yeah, I only weigh 150 pounds. This is a fat suit." I do that just for the fat guy jokes.
And they always say, "Is this really true? Do you really have 4 kids?" No, I'm lying.
Yeah.
I have 3 kids, but I thought 4 sounded better.
I had 1, but he has multiple personalities.
Yeah.
All right. As a final question, because we're getting down here, we kind of touched on this before, but just to get a little more concise answer, what is it like becoming a comedian now than it was maybe 10 or 35 years ago?
I can't answer that because I can't become a comedian now. I became a comedian 35 years ago, so I don't know. You'd have to ask a brand new guy. I would think, it's funny because a couple of years back, I mean, my guys have notebooks, and we still carry notebooks. And I get with these guys, I'm looking at them a couple of years back, I don't know, maybe 8 years. I'm going, it's a cool character. He's got a show in 8 minutes, and he's on his phone. And I said to him, really, dude, you're going to be on your phone before you go on stage? He goes, looking at my jokes. I was like, your jokes? Yeah, I got them on my phone. So I tried that. I put my jokes on my phone, and I looked at them, and I could not transfer from the phone to my head to the mouth to the microphone. So to this day, I still write the jokes down before the show. I have repetitive stuff and I go on stage. My hand, the ink goes up my arm, around my brain, comes out the mouth. I just can't look at it on a piece of paper.
You can't play a game of Operation with him.
No.
The thing buzzes all the time. I think it brings up a good... Like, I've done that. I like to write because there's something about memory when you write it, you're thinking it stays. But I've gotten to the point where I put my set on my phone, right? So I don't have to... Where's my paper?
Right.
So, but I think if there's a difference between the past and now, is that there was a day where if you wanted a comedy club to see you, you'd have to be there, or you had to mail them a VCR tape or a package. You had to mail it. You had to go to the mail.
Yeah.
Now you can send an email with it all there in an attachment.
Yeah.
So there's a lot more ease somehow. The problem is there's thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of comics now in this country. You know, I get the hardest challenge I have. I want to get booked to open up. We're like, we already got 500 features in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
Why ain't going to hire you coming from Florida? So there's more people, but there's definitely a lot more technology. I mean, in the comedy world, you have the nationally known headliners that have been just hilarious and got a reputation. Then you got the guy who videoed himself falling down the staircase.
Yeah.
You know, who's now a million. He's got 1 million views on YouTube, and he's going to get on and headline a club. So it's an
Hannibal
interesting.
Buress, here's a guy he was okay funny, but he busted Bill Cosby. We all heard the story years ago. We heard it. We didn't know if it was true or not. And this guy did it on stage in Philadelphia. A reporter was in there. They came in the next night with a camera, and and this guy went viral. Next thing you know, he's an act.
Yeah.
And Cosby ends up in jail. But this guy became funny. He hit the moment that was right, and there it is.
There's other people before him that called out Cosby, but he was the
guy who had the reporter in the audience that night.
He was the camel on the feather on the camel's back. Mm-hmm. That just took a Quaalude.
All right. Well, I thank you for being here and talking to me.
Wait a minute, we're just warming up.
Well,
you got 2 headliners here. We don't do 10-minute spots. We do. Well, let's go.
I didn't see no light.
And let me say this.